Tuesday, December 6, 2016, Village of Peoria Heights Board of Trustees meeting. Meeting is now called to order. Would you please rise and join us in the pledge of the flag? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our village clerk, Shauna Musselman, is under the weather tonight, so need a motion from the board to approve the temporary appointment of Administrator Fick to take care of the minutes tonight.
So moved.
Have a motion from Trustee Cumming.
Second.
Second from Trustee Reichert. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. Thank you. The ayes have it. Mr. Administrator, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn.
Present.
Trustee Carter.
Present.
Trustee Mariscal. Trustee Cumming.
Present.
Trustee Reichert.
Present.
Trustee Fuller.
Present. Thank you very much. First order of business tonight is the approval of the Board of Trustees minutes for the November 15th, 2016 meeting. Are there any changes that need to be made to the minutes?
I move that we accept the minutes as submitted.
We have a motion from Trustee Cumming.
Second.
Second from Trustee Carter. All those in favor of approving the Board of Trustees minutes for November 15th, 2016 as submitted, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. Thank you. The ayes have it. The board has approved the Board of Trustees minutes for November 15th as submitted. Mr. Administrator, any correspondence that you're aware of?
It does not appear that we have any correspondence this evening, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. The only announcement I have, I want to thank Director Smith and the Street Department for doing such a fine job with Forest Park Drive on Sunday. The most dangerous road in North America when it's icy. Yes. And it was in beautiful shape. So
Even when it's not icy.
even when it's not icy, it's extremely dangerous. But when it's icy, it's a killer.
Depends on if you're driving the streets.
Things can happen when you're driving one of those. But thank you, everyone, for that. Okay, we're going to move to trustee reports, and first up will be economic development, village improvements with Trustee Carter.
Thank you. I just want to remind everybody that this Saturday is the Chocolate in the Heights, so come out and visit the shops.
All right, thank you. Any questions at all for Trustee Carter? Okay, thanks again. We'll move to the police department with Trustee Fuller.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. The only thing I have is that the next Neighborhood Watch meeting will be up here at Village Hall on January 30th. It's a Monday at 6:30 p.m.
All right, thank you. Any questions at all for Trustee Fuller? Okay, thank you again. Trustee Mariscal could not be here tonight. Mr. Administrator, anything you know about building property maintenance that we should know about?
Nothing this evening.
All right, thank you. We'll move to the fire department with Trustee Reichert.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing this evening.
All right, thank you. We'll go to public works with Trustee Harn.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing right now.
Thank you very much. And we'll close with administration personnel with Trustee Cumming.
Man, end of the year slow. I have nothing as well. Thanks.
All right, thank you, everyone. Comments from the audience? Cares, concerns, fears? Sean?
Just want to make a few comments regarding to the library.
Should be on.
For you who don't know me, this is Sean Edwards, the director of the Peoria Heights Public Library. Just wanted to thank you again this year for all of the support we get from the village and the residents of Peoria Heights. I know financially it's a stressful time for a lot of people, but we really do appreciate the time that people come and visit us and invest in the library. One of the things that I think we've done this year, which has reduced a lot of barriers for people in the community, is as you may know, it hit the front page of the Peoria Journal-Star, was that we eliminated overdue fines for people, which has I think been well received, obviously, but we've also been able to remove any past fines that from items that were checked out at the library, which is another big barrier. So hopefully, we haven't had enough time to really evaluate it yet, but I think it's going to bring a lot more people into the library. In addition, and another area that we're trying to serve the community and reduce barriers is that our computer system that we use for our public computers, we've changed to a non-PC system, which is remotely administered in Canada, actually. Don't ask me, but that system is, it's taken a lot of stress off of our local IT person, and she is now able to spend a lot more time helping the community members when they have computer problems and issues, and doing a lot more training one-on-one. So in those ways, I hope we're making some impact on the community. Children's programming this year, I think we've seen a real big boost. For whatever reason, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe we're just doing a lot better reaching the community. Summer reading, we really had a huge uptick in the number of students that we reached. Our children's events expanded in some cases by I think tenfold. Some of the events that we had where we saw 3 or 4 kids coming to, we were suddenly seeing 20, 30, 40 kids, just for small events where kids would come into the library and just have a free play time. We had one event at least one event in our meeting room where we have a performer come in, where we were to capacity, so I don't want the fire department to get, well, he's not here anyway, but I don't want the fire department to get too alarmed, but we were maxed out. We had over 160 people in our meeting room, and we're just, thrilled that we'll reach all those people. And I think our other events for children have expanded as well. Our graphic novel book club that we have for teens and children, which started off with about a handful of kids, maybe 5 or 6 last year, and now we're looking at 20, 25 kids in that group, and it's just word of mouth. I mean, the kids have talked to each other, and they've invited their friends, and the group has expanded. So I think I'm really overjoyed with those programming things that we've got going on. Just a couple of notes about things we've got coming up in the next couple of weeks. Next week we have the Methodist Unity Point Wellmobile is going to be out. Actually, this Friday they're going to be out at the library. And they'll be there from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. It's a free blood pressure, blood glucose, spirometry screening. So if you have the need, come by. Also stop by the same day. This Friday we have our annual open house, holiday open house, where we're going to have free cookies and coffee and stuff. So, after you get your blood glucose checked, come by, have a few cookies, balance things out. And then next week we have a senior nutrition workshop that's being taken care of by the OSF dietetics program. They have some staff and interns that are coming out to present that program. And that's next Wednesday from, that's next Wednesday from 10 to 12. So stop by and see us sometime. We've got a great staff. I think they do a remarkable job. If you have any questions, always give me a call. I'm free to answer anything you have. And Kyle, as always, thanks for all the support we get from Public Works Department. Thanks for clearing the snow. The parking lot looked great. So, thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Any other comments from the audience? Roberta? No? Mike? No? Jeff? Anything on your mind tonight? Okay. We do thank everyone for attending. No old business tonight, so we're going to go directly to new business. First up will be ordinance 2016-1490, which will be presented by Trustee Cumming.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. At this time, I make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2016-1490. And this is kind of a confusing, well, not really confusing, but the way that it's worded is. So I'm going to try and make it as transparent and easy to understand as I can on this. Our bond payment every year for the $1.8 million bond that we issued for the Trefskers Development Project requires a payment of $180,000 per year. The first 2 years of that payment are capitalized interest. So we have a couple years to get up to that under $180K amount. But our deal with Trefskers is that as a safety net, in case the equalized assessed value does not come in where we need it to cover these bond payments out of the TIF district, we added the special services area, which was a 1% tax on the Trefskers building itself. Well, obviously, the new development will not be assessed till probably next year, and it'll be the following year after that before any of that value is realized on the increase in property taxes. So we have in place where the Hebners and Trefskers, any difference between the equalized assessed value that we're getting off the top from the increased value of the building and the $180,000 bond payment has to be made up by Trefskers through that special services area tax money. Well, obviously, since they're just getting going, there's not going to be a lot in that fund either. So what we are really voting on right here is we are going to abate $105,000 of that $180,000 that Trefskers would be on the hook for right now, because there is no money in the TIF fund and they really are just getting going with the SSA. But what we'd like to do is out of that $180,000, abate $105,000, but have Trefskers pay $75,000 this year and $75 next year into a fund which will give us a reserve of $150,000 that we could use towards bond payments in the future. It gives us just a little bit more of a safety net, and we would also be abating the $105,000 next year as well. So 2 years of abatement, $105,000, and 2 years of $75,000 payments. And then by year 3, that equalized assessed value should hit, and we hopefully will not have a need for any type of abatement going forward.
All right. You make the motion then? Yes. Trustee Cumming? Okay. Need a second, please?
Second.
I have a second from Trustee Reichert. Any questions or comments from the board? For everyone in the crowd, you will be quizzed on that before you leave tonight. It's the only way to get out is you have to pass that quiz. Okay, once again, it's for board approval of ordinance 2016-1490 as outlined by Trustee Cumming. Mr. Administrator, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn.
Aye.
Trustee Carter.
Aye.
Trustee Cumming.
Aye.
Trustee Reichert. Aye. Trustee Fuller.
Aye. Thank you. By a vote of 5-0, the board has approved ordinance 2016-1490 as outlined by Trustee Cumming. Next order of new business tonight is usually the most contentious vote of the year. It's the approval from the board to cancel the December departmental meeting, and that will be presented by Trustee Cumming.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. At this time, I make a motion that we cancel the December departmental meeting scheduled for 6:30 on Tuesday, the 27th.
Okay, we have a motion from Trustee Cumming.
Second.
Second from Trustee Reichert. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, this is for board approval to cancel the December departmental meeting and carry over all that material to the January meeting. Mr. Administrator, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn.
Aye.
Trustee Carter.
Aye.
Trustee Cumming.
Aye.
Trustee Reichert.
Aye.
Trustee Fuller.
Okay, amazingly enough, by a vote of 5-0, the board has approved canceling the December departmental meeting. Next order of new business tonight is ordinance 2016-1491, and that will be presented by Trustee Cumming.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. At this time, I make a motion that we approve ordinance 2016-1491, which is the levying of property taxes for the village and the library for the 2016 fiscal year, which ends on the 30th of April, 2017. This will be a little bit easier than my previous presentation. If you would, please skip to page 11, the very second to last page of your packet, or actually the front side of the last page of your packet. What we are interested in here is the recapitulation. The village and library are both asking for the 5% levy, which is the maximum that we can. And out of those 5%, the funds are going to be used for the following: $124,533 Bless you. Will go into our general fund. $310,467 will go to the police pension fund, and the library has asked for a levy of $462,654. Help make up for those lost overdue book fees, I imagine. And that's it.
All right. Have a motion from trustee Cumming.
Second.
Thank you. Second from trustee Harn. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, this is for board approval of ordinance 2016-1491, adoption of the property tax levy for 2016 through 2017, as outlined by trustee Cumming. Mr. Administrator, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn.
Aye.
Trustee Carter.
Aye.
Trustee Cumming.
Aye.
Trustee Reichert.
Aye.
Trustee Fuller.
Thank you. By a vote of 5-0, the board has approved ordinance 2016-1491 as outlined by trustee Cumming. Our next order of new business tonight is ordinance 2016-1492, which will be presented by trustee Harn.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Allen. This is an ordinance to amend Section 1 of Ordinance 2011-1353 pertaining to the establishment of all water rates in the Village of Peoria Heights. From December 1st, 2016 through November 30th, 2017, the minimum charge for 3 months for a residential house will be $52.48, and that's for the first 6,000 gallons. And I'm not going to read all the totals, but as you use more than your first 6,000, your dollars per 1,000 gallons of water you use goes down. And for businesses are billed on a monthly basis, not 3 months. Their minimum charge will be $23.36, and the country club is also on a monthly rate, and that's $23.36 per month for them. Then on the second year of this, which will be December 1st, 2017 through November 30th, 2018, there will be a 7.5% increase. And on the third year, again, there will be another 7.5% increase on the water rates. If anyone wants to know exactly how much per 1,000 gallon, they're welcome to come up and look at this. It might even be online. The purpose of raising the water rates is we're having some tower issues where we need to go in and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars redoing the inside and the outside of our water towers. And we have 3 water towers. So there's also a cost involved in the chemicals to keep the water safe for everyone to drink. That goes up constantly. The labor rates go up. That's not really so much of an issue as just the maintenance on the infrastructure. Plus, part of this increase will start getting put forward toward replacing some of the water mains. We have mains that are over 100 years old. And typically, a cast iron water main will last 50 to 70 years under ideal circumstances. That's what you can expect to get out of it. The plastic can go upwards of over 100 years, but plastic hasn't been around for 100 years. That's just what the testing is showing. And that's usually what we put in. We have done some ductile iron mains, but anyway, we're going to actually take our money and we're going to start becoming proactive on water main issues by replacing mains before they become, well, the ones that are falling apart, of course, will get replaced first, but then the ones that we know are ready to go will start to get replaced in the future. So that's the whole point of the water rate increases. So I make a motion, we approve ordinance 2016-1492. Getting older is a treat. You have to use your glasses to read up close.
I have a motion from trustee Harn.
Second.
Second from trustee Carter. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes?
Now, apples to apples with these increases, how do we stack up against what our neighbors are paying or are going to be paying to Illinois American?
I think we'll ask Kyle that.
Well, I am a neighbor that pays to Illinois American, and I can tell you the minimum charge in the Heights after our increase is $52.48. I pay the minimum in Peoria, and I pay over $50 a month. I also just got a letter in the mail that starting next year, my rates are going up 19%. So this isn't something that's affecting just us. I mean, this is affecting everyone. This infrastructure throughout this whole area was put in at a similar time frame, and it's kind of all coming due right now. So as Trustee Harn said, we're going to try and get out in front of this a little bit so we don't have the same emergent breaks that we have had in the past, and replace some of the worst mains. But even, to get back to your question, even with these rate increases, I think we're still providing a very good, safe product at a very reasonable rate. Most folks' cell phones and cable bills go up every year too, and you don't always get the same outcry as you get over water, but it costs a lot to manufacture the water and deliver it to customers efficiently. So that's really where a lot of these rate increases have to go to.
Well, and I don't think they've developed an app that will actually pour clean water out of your phone yet, but I'm sure it's on the horizon.
If they
right?
do, I need to know about it. Yeah.
The Brita phone.
So really then, our increased rate for next year, well, from December of this year through November of next year, is the new rate. The increased rate is going to be roughly about a third of what ILLAM's current rate is. Correct? So still a great deal. I mean, nobody likes paying more, but I mean, hey, I'll stack our water quality up against anybody's, and if we're paying a third for it, that still is a pretty good deal at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I mean, we didn't haphazardly back into these numbers. I mean, we specifically came up with these increases because we can project out what that'll give us as surplus money. Again, that Trustee Harn said that we can begin to stockpile to replace water mains. So we felt like we asked for the percentage increase that we needed. This wasn't, there was research that went into this. We looked at 10 or 12 other surrounding municipalities. This wasn't just throwing a dart at the board. So we asked for what we needed, but I don't think it's an over-ask.
Mayor Allen, I just want to make a quick comment here. I understand that we potentially need to raise our rates, but just the back of the envelope calculations, over a 2.5-3 year period, we're raising our rates 25%. Okay, and that's why I'm going to vote against this, because I think that's a little bit much when you put it into perspective. I think maybe if we'd have been a little bit, I don't know anybody that's going to be making 25% more 2 or 3 years from now. So I don't see how we could pass something like this, to be quite honest. I know we need it for infrastructure, but that's why we had the $5 infrastructure fee added to the water bill every month. So,
Yeah, I think that the $5 thing was not, was to create a fund to draw upon.
right.
But it was never known exactly how much it was going to cost, because here we're doing the main along Roosevelt Road, which, to be honest with you, a couple of years ago, we weren't thinking about. And it's going to keep happening. And I think what we're seeing is that we're just trying to keep ahead of the curve. And so long as I understand what you're saying, that a 25% rate over 3 years.
That's incredible.
That being said, like Director Smith said, everything is going up in price, and we are also, the time has come to pay the piper on some of these water mains, and we're just trying to hit them before they start exploding every other month.
I would have preferred a more gradual increase. It seems a little bit abrupt.
Part of the problem with why we are where we are right now is because in the past, the appropriate increases weren't made, and so now we are behind.
That may be true,
I think it's important to note that over the 3-year life of this ordinance, of the minimum water bill for 3 months of usage is going to go up approximately $7.50 over the life of this ordinance, which is 3 years. That to me seems like a reasonable increase.
I mean,
over the course of 3 years.
it's a 25% increase, and water rates are, by their nature, a regressive tax, because they charged everybody the same, no matter what type of house you live in. And so I think it's going to hit some of our more needier citizens harder than others, and so that's why I don't like such a big increase in the percentage.
I hear you. Again, I asked for what I feel like we needed in our estimation. I guess I would also, I think it's just important, one other thing to point out, this isn't a tax. You're getting a consumable good. So I think that sometimes folks lose sight of that. Roads aren't taxes, water isn't tax. With this, you're actually getting a consumable good that you put inside your body. So I just kind of want you to see it from that perspective if you can.
When I look at it, I agree with you that it is a lot, but what's kind of driving it is we've been putting Band-Aids on our towers for quite a while, and now we're ready to spend $1 million or over $1 million in bonds to fix them. So a lot of this money is going to help pay that back, plus get out in front a little bit on top of it. Like the inside of the towers, they don't look bad on the outside, but the insides are just all corroded, and they're just needing to be re-epoxied and painted, and it's terribly expensive. And that's kind of why we've sort of slid back, and now we're playing catch up, and it's terrible. And I do agree, and I also don't like the idea that some of our senior citizens are going to get hit, because there are people who have a fixed income, and I don't mean a pension and Social Security, I mean Social Security, period.
Right.
And that doesn't go up very often. And so for them, it hits them more than anybody. But maybe we can help some of them out if people actually really are in hardship, I mean, we can talk about that later. We've talked about it once before, but anyway, that's where, in my mind, that's where all this came from, and that's why we're here.
And it's important to point out that the increase will be, in real dollars and cents, will be, for the minimum charge, will be $16 more a year.
Right, I know.
For each year.
I know, it doesn't seem like a lot. Neither does the $5 a month we added to the water bill already. I mean,
I know everything adds up.
My point is that you can nickel and dime people to the point where, okay, it's not a lot here, it's not a lot there, it's not a lot, and then finally it adds up, right?
But the problem is, Trustee Fuller, the people who supply the chemicals,
I'm not
the
opposed
cost.
to a rate increase.
Just let me finish.
25% is what I'm
Is
opposed
that
to.
nobody freezes the prices for us, even though we're trying to keep prices down.
Right.
Nobody who supplies the chemicals to us says, you know what? We know you have a lot of senior citizens in Peoria Heights, so we're going to freeze the price on the chemicals. Nobody will do that. The prices will go up no matter how good we are trying to be.
Right, I have no disagreement with you there.
So, I mean, if what we're doing is supplying potable water to all these people, and it's coming up 1/3 of what Illinois American is charging for the same amount.
Well, I'm not responsible for what American Water does.
Well, what I'm saying is that we are surrounded by customers who are paying 3 times more than we are. So no one's saying, let's meet